Beep, 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 beep. Morning, welcome to the Court of the Digester. Please subscribe and share from YouTube if you can. If you can share from YouTube, that helps tremendously. More subscribers, more messages going out. Also, if you want to become a warrior teacher, we are heading towards the end of July, beginning of August, at which point the applications will end, and we've got very few left for the 11 a.m. Tuesday slot every second Tuesday of the month. So if you're game, go and have a look at my profile or spot one of the adverts that you'll see going up in the next few days. Other than that, let's move straight on. I'm grateful to Transgender Trend, who we know is run by the marvellous Stephanie Davis RI, who has received accolades for her work, and she has gifted us with, or they have gifted us with, on the July the 16th, an article which really highlights something to me that I think you need to be aware of and to share your thoughts, if you will, please, which is this idea of what's happening about the spread of gender ideology online. Now, it is fairly straightforward to understand that this shouldn't be being taught or being dealt with, but this is particularly about youth organisations, and this is about an online mental health platform spreading gender ideology. I think, and this may well go down very badly with some of the people that I know, I think it's time that psychology and psychiatry were pulled in. I think it's time that there must be a kite mark, a standard, and everybody must sign up to it, and they must sign up to agree not to do certain things, and I think that's what we should be looking at here, is an industry kite mark perhaps, or an industry standard, because the one we've currently got doesn't seem to be working. And I certainly think that anything that purports to help with mental health online that is UK based should have to be scrutinised very deeply, and if it isn't UK based, block it. Tell parents where it is and block it. Or, get the parents to block it. Block this, it's all nuts. I don't know. I wish it was simple, it's not, so I'm looking forward to what you're going to say. So this is about UnKooth, the online mental health platform spreading gender identity ideology. And it's written by Shelley Charlesworth. Thank you very much, Shelley, for this article for today's Jester episode. Visit UnKooth's website and you'll read that they are the market leader in online mental health support and advice, and the largest mental health platform for 10 to 25-year-olds in the UK. But what they don't say is that this also makes them one of the largest sites teaching gender identity theory to children and young people, whose counsellors direct children to other harmful sites, such as those promoting breast binding. It's got to be criminal. We need to criminalise breast binding, like we would if somebody was binding their feet, like they did in old China, into the sixth happiness and all that. Initially, there are no signs of affiliation with the gender cause on the website, no pink and blue flag or allyship statements. But when signing up to use UnKooth, there's a compulsory tick box choice of 4 genders: male, female, agender and gender fluid. Whatever reason a child has for joining the platform, from the onset, they are being schooled in the neo-language of gender. That's very well highlighted there, Shelley. Absolutely true. A major driver of UnKooth's approach to gender identity is their association with the BACP. Right, we continue to be a BACP, British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, accredited service, and indeed are the only nationwide digital mental health service to hold this accolade. Some might question whether BACP endorsement is any sort of accolade. BACP's position of gender identity hardly differs from LGBT activist groups such as Stonewall or Mermaids. BACP was a key player in the contentious addition of gender identity to the Memorandum of Understanding on Conversion Therapy in 2017. As you know, I have railed against this conversion therapy nonsense and attaching it to gender identity, because gender identity is the conversion therapy. The trans identity is conversion therapy. It's homophobia, red in tooth and claw, the worst kind I've ever seen. The worst kind I've ever seen. This development of the Memorandum of Understanding, based on no evidence whatsoever of a problem with anti-trans therapy in the UK, has had a chilling effect on therapists wanting to work with gender-distressed children. BACP's evidence to the government's conversion therapy consultation is written from an ideological political approach to gender, particularly in relation to children. Writing for the BACP's website in 2019, UnKooth staff member Charlotte Mindell revealed that in the period 2014 to 2018, we have seen a 552% increase in the recorded presenting issue of gender identity. Accounting proportionally for the increase of users over the time, what this means is that across the population of young people, we work with 6 times as many are exploring their gender identity in some form. This iatrogenic nonsense needs to stop. Despite the sudden increase, the UnKooth platform does not reflect current significant developments in treating gender-related distress. Or take into account the closure of GIDS, all the findings of the CAS interim report. You remember such an important part of this now is the CAS interim report, which identified this the social transition as iatrogenic as the beginning of the end for the majority of individuals. Following the BACP, they affirm their users' identities, in many cases not knowing if they are treating a boy or a girl. This is medical malpractice. Medical malpractice of the highest sort. According to UnKooth, the most used form of therapy on the site is peer-to-peer or self-help. There you go. They're spreading it. They're spreading it like an iatrogenic disease. They're spreading it. We know social contagion is a major driver spreading gender ideology. What appears to be happening here is that an online platform, which is supposed to offer qualified, evidence mental health support, has handed over the job to a bunch of to teenagers. I couldn't help it then. I had to add the words adult to a bunch of gender adult grievance gerbil teenagers. That's what they've done. They're letting the kids spread it themselves, this iatrogenic danger. Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Nonsense, isn't it? It's just nonsense. It's like someone out of a horror film. What is UnKooth? The business started in Stockport in 2004, offering online mental health services to children and young people in conjunction with the local authority and Stockport NHS Primary Care Trust. The service spread across the northwest, and by 2011 their turnover was 1 million from contracts with 16 other local authorities and NHS trusts. In 2020, UnKooth was floated on the stock exchange and has now expanded into the US. They also offer services for adult businesses which fall outside the scope of this article. In their sales pitch to investors, they claim the cost of poor mental health in the UK is 118 billion. Their biggest UK client is the NHS, which also funds UnKooth through another route, SBRI Healthcare, the NHS's improvement initiative. However, it is of note that UnKooth is not on the list of just 4 named providers of digital mental health care for children recommended by the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. They're not on the provider list. But there they are. If they're not on the provider list, they shouldn't be practicing. They shouldn't be attached to the NHS. Why are we funding this? Because the NHS is infiltrated. Because you've got a network of people slapping each other's backs and giving them money. Said it before, say it again, said it the other day. It's a public health issue. It's an emergency. Data is their thing. Despite the first category area and gathering it, i.e. the asking for the different genders, UnKooth boasts one of the world's largest mental health anonymised data sets, which we use to help improve products and outcomes for people who utilise our service. This is dangerously behaviour stuff. Dangerously behaviourist stuff. The overt medicalisation of young people into an iatrogenic, harmful belief system. Why isn't this a crime? I think it's non-contact child abuse, but then I would, wouldn't I? Today, they say, in the UK, over 60% of all 10 to 25-year-olds have free access to UnKooth, funded by the NHS or their local authority. According to NHS England data for 2021-22, UnKooth has now become the largest single access provider for mental health support for under-18 teens, a testament to the trust and reach that we've achieved in partnership with the NHS. 1/4. 25%. It's no secret that they'd like their service to reach 100% of this age group. I would suggest that you go and have a look. I mean, it's a brilliant, an absolutely brilliant analysis from Shelley Charlesworth. Thank you very much, Shelley, indeed, for this analysis, which gives us some insight into exactly what UnKooth is. UnKooth is what I'd say they are. Absolutely fetid is how it comes across to me. But there's much more in the article, and I do urge you to go and have a look at the article on transgender trend and perhaps retweet it so that Shelley can reach the maximum audience. And of course, then we can also promote transgender trend. Other than that, become a warrior teacher. August starts coming. I'm so excited. I can't contain myself. Then there'll be a September, which is going to be on a Monday. All right, folks. Look, go and have a great time. Go and have a read. Share this, subscribe, the usual. I'll see you later. Bye.